You sit down to work. 2 minutes later, your mind is somewhere else. You try to read a book and retain nothing. You start a task and abandon it halfway through. You tell yourself you lack discipline. You tell yourself you are lazy. You are wrong. Your focus was not weak. It was shattered by 1,000 tiny cuts you never noticed. This is not about willpower. This is about what you allowed into your environment and what that environment did to your brain. Every notification, every app designed to pull you back in, every algorithm built to fragment your thoughts, every environment that rewards distraction and punishes depth. You have been living inside a system engineered to break your ability to hold attention. And it worked. You do not have a focus problem. You have an environment problem. Focus is not a skill you lost. It is a capacity that has been systematically destroyed. The average man checks his phone over 150 times per day. Every check is an interruption. Every interruption resets the brain's ability to hold sustained thought. You are not weak. You are fighting a system designed by people whose entire business model depends on your inability to focus. And you are losing, because you are still pretending this is a personal failure. It is not. It is a design outcome. Your attention span did not collapse because you stopped trying. It collapsed because every surface in your life is engineered to fragment it. The cost is not just productivity. It is the inability to think clearly, to make decisions that require more than surface-level processing, to build anything that demands sustained mental effort. When your attention is fragmented, your thoughts are fragmented. When your thoughts are fragmented, your decisions are fragmented. And fragmented decisions build fragmented lives. You cannot think deeply if your brain has been trained to switch contexts every 90 seconds. That is not a habit. That is a rewiring. Most men do not realize this until they try to sit in silence for 10 minutes. And they cannot. The discomfort is not boredom. It is withdrawal. Your brain has been conditioned to expect stimulation at intervals shorter than the time it takes to develop a single complete thought. That conditioning does not reverse by accident. It reverses by structure. Here is what actually happens when you try to focus in a broken environment. You open your laptop to start working. Before the document even loads, you check your phone. Not because you needed to, because your hand moved before your brain decided. That is not distraction. That is automation. Your environment has trained you to interrupt yourself. You do not need an external notification anymore. You create your own interruptions on a loop your conscious mind does not even register. You sit down to read. 3 paragraphs in, your mind drifts. Not to something important. To nothing. Just away. You reread the same paragraph 4 times and still have no idea what it said. That is not a reading problem. That is an attention problem. And the attention problem is not yours. It belongs to the environment you have been operating inside for years. Your brain was not built to process 40 different stimuli before 9 in the morning. Emails, messages, news, social media, work notifications, personal notifications, endless tabs, endless threads. Your brain does not distinguish between important and trivial when everything is presented with the same urgency. So it treats everything as low priority. And when everything is low priority, nothing gets your full attention. You are not lazy. You are cognitively overloaded. And cognitive overload does not feel like overload. It feels like inability, like you just are not smart enough, fast enough, disciplined enough. But the truth is simpler. You are trying to think in an environment designed to prevent thinking, and no amount of effort fixes that. The men who appear to have superhuman focus are not more disciplined than you. They just removed more variables. They work in rooms with nothing in them, no second screen, no phone within reach, no open tabs they are not actively using, no background noise, no music with lyrics, no escape route when the mental effort gets uncomfortable. This is not monk-level discipline. This is basic environmental control. But most men never get there, because they are still trying to fight distraction with willpower. And willpower does not work, not because you are weak, because willpower is the wrong tool. You do not fight a design system with effort. You dismantle the system. If your phone is in the room, you will check it. Not because you lack discipline, because it is designed to be checked. The notification is bait. The dopamine hit is the hook. And you have been hooked so many times your brain now expects the hit even when there is no notification. Remove the phone. Not to another part of the desk, to another room. If you can see it, you will reach for it. That is not weakness. That is how proximity works. If your workspace has 10 tabs open, your brain is managing 10 incomplete tasks. Even if you are only looking at one, your subconscious is tracking all of them, wondering if something updated, if someone replied, if you missed something. That background processing is not free. It costs attention. Close everything except the single task in front of you. One tab, one document, one thought. If notifications are enabled, you are not working. You are waiting to be interrupted. Turn them all off, not on silent, off. Because even knowing a notification might be waiting creates the same cognitive drain as receiving it. Your brain will check, not because it needs to, because it has been trained to. The environment you work in shapes the quality of thought you can produce. A chaotic environment produces chaotic thought. A controlled environment produces controlled thought. This is not philosophy. This is mechanics. If you cannot sit in silence for 20 minutes without reaching for stimulation, you do not control your attention. Your environment does. And until you change the environment, nothing else changes. Most men spend their entire lives trying to build discipline in an environment that makes discipline impossible. And then they blame themselves when it does not work. That is the trap. You were never supposed to succeed in that environment. It was built to break you. Focus is not about working harder. It is about working in an environment that allows sustained thought to exist in the first place. Remove the distractions before you start. Not during, before. Because once you are in the work, you do not have the bandwidth to fight your environment and complete the task. One of them loses, and it is always the task. The ability to hold attention on a single thing for more than 20 minutes without external interruption used to be normal. Now it is rare, and the men who can do it control everything. Because while everyone else is switching between 12 things and completing none of them, they are finishing one thing fully. Depth beats speed every time. You do not need to be faster. You need to be able to finish what you start without your brain scattering halfway through. That capacity is not built by trying harder. It is built by removing everything that scatters you. Your focus will not return because you decided it should. It will return because you structured an environment where it can. No phone, no extra tabs, no notifications, no passive noise, no second screen, nothing that offers an easier option when the work gets hard. That is the baseline, not the advanced version, the baseline. And if that sounds extreme to you, that tells you how far the standard has fallen. 20 years ago, this was called working. Now it is called deep work, because normal work became shallow, fractured, surface level, constantly interrupted. And the men who still work the old way, the deep way, are the ones building everything that lasts. because they can think past the next notification. Structure your environment, command your attention, protect your ability to think. That is not productivity advice, that is survival. Because the world you are living in is actively trying to make you unable to think past the next dopamine hit. And if you let it, you will spend the rest of your life reacting instead of building. Master yourself. Command your life. Build an environment that does not break your focus before you even begin. That is not inspiration. That is the only instruction that matters.